Hey guys, it's Heather the Crochet Witch. How are you guys doing? Fix my hair a little bit. Anyway, so this is the hashtag movie in Stitch. Yes. Sorry. I'm getting it in my head. I want to say the movie marquee challenge, which this video is not. That is completely different. Anyway, this one is the hashtag movie and Stitch that was started last year by Terry from the Yarn Joy podcast, where participants like myself are going are going to go through the alphabet and watch movies coinciding with the letters of the alphabet and work on a project or a project per movie, however it is that you want to do. The freedom of choice is yours, and go with the movie, with the movies. Some people were doing like one project like a blanket and doing a row or two of colors from like inspired from like either the movie poster or just inspired from the movie itself. Some people were doing blanket squares per movie and then joining them for a blanket. Some people were doing amigurumis per movie, which is mind-blowing and awesome and crazy and amazing and a bunch of other descriptive words. And some people like myself were just picking a project. Now I put a theme to my project because what I am doing is horror movies, because I'm a horror movie girl and like just through and through horror movies. And I am doing an alphabet's worth of horror movies and doing a Halloween themed blanket. So that's the Heather project. Okay. And I started with everybody last year, and then I fell behind a little bit, and then a little bit turned into a lot of bit, and then I fell off completely for a while. And then I picked it up at the end of the year, determined. At first I was crazily determined. Like I was doing like two at one point I did 3 of them in like a week because I was just determined I was going to get it done by the end of the year and catch up, and that did not happen. As you can see, we're into March and I'm still finishing. But I have at least kept it going this time. And I'm almost done. I'm so excited to say. This week is the letter U and the reveal for the letter V. So I'm almost done. The project is almost done. Yeah, so let's talk about my U movie, which, if you joined last week, was Underworld. You know it was Underworld. While not the spookiest horror movie, I think it still counts. It's at least a vampire and werewolf themed movie, so I think it counts. And let me just start by saying, I'm going to keep this short. I will. I promise this. Well, I'm not going to promise. I say that every time, and then I never do. I'm going to try. Let me start by saying that I had forgotten how much I absolutely love this movie. It's been a while. I thought that it was out in the 90s because I could have swore I watched this in high school. Did I just date myself? But this was, I believe when I was looking up stuff for this, it said 2003. I'm trying to find it on, yeah, it's 2003, which I mean, that's close. I was still hanging out with my high school friends, I suppose, then. I'm pretty sure I went to see this in the theaters with my sister and a couple of my friends who were probably out of high school, but I hung out with them when I was in high school. Yeah. So anyway, and I remember it being like, I don't know if this was a thing for everyone or if this was just like my being ridiculous thing, But one of the lead characters in here, his name in the movie is Michael, and his name, the actor's name is Scott. I can't think of his last name. I don't know if it says it on here. Scott Speedman. And he plays Michael. And I thought it was a hoot that his name, a hoot. I don't know where that came from, but I thought it was a hoot that his name was Scott, and in real life. And to me, he looked like the lead singer of Creed, which was also big back then. And the lead singer of Creed's name is Scott Stapp. So like through the whole movie, my friends and I would like kind of mimic like some Creed songs, which I'm not gonna do. I'll save you that, but I don't know. It was like a running joke with it. Did anybody else ever have that same connection and joke, or are like crickets chirping right now and that's just us? Anyway, that was like a fond memory. Like I was watching the movie and it just kind of hit me and I was like, oh yeah, Scott Stapp. I actually looked up Scott Stapp at the end of the movie just to like compare the two again. Anyway, so this movie, if you're not familiar with it, and you like horror movies, if you like vampire-ish things, if you like action movies, because really honestly, that's why I say it's not exactly a horror movie. This is really an action movie. I mean, honestly, which like horror can be action, but it doesn't have to be. I'm there for the horror part of it. Yeah, but if you like that sort of thing, you really should see this movie. I kind of expected like, okay, this is back from like almost 2000. The like special effects and stuff are just gonna and everything, and it was still, there was nothing wrong with this. For some reason, when I bought this DVD, I had this like infatuation with watching everything on full screen instead of widescreen, which is way more popular then and now. Like now it's whatever to me. I guess I don't know. I guess I still prefer full screen now, only for the nostalgic like purpose of the fact that way back in the day it was always full screen. So like if I'm watching like, I don't know, old 80s type stuff, I would prefer it to be on full screen because that's what it was then, right? But otherwise it is what it is. It doesn't really matter to me. Yeah, so anyway, this one was in full screen, I guess is what my brain is like. Which is crazy because I had a day off and it's not even like stupid late right now either, but my brain is just I have a lot on my mind. Not bad things, just a lot on my mind. Back to the movie. This is one of the movies that like, especially being a younger goth, when I was younger, obviously I'm still goth, but being a younger goth, I sided with the vampires in like every vampire versus werewolf movie ever. So this was like groundbreaking to me that I think I may have sided with the werewolves, at least like that much. I was probably ultimately on the side of the hybrid, which was Michael, honestly. But so, okay. I'm going to give you spoilers, and I'm going to do like the quickest full review that I can. So let me just start from the beginning. Assuming that you may or may not have seen it. Basically, it starts out with this like house full of vampires. And, well, it starts out with a battle scene, actually, I guess I should say. Vampire warriors, basically, versus werewolves. And that's when you find out, like, the vampires find out the werewolves were kind of hunting this human, which was Michael, which was the guy that looks like Scott Stapp. And then when the vampires return back, it's just like this, like, Victorian mansion, like it was like a goth girl's like dream lifestyle. They're just like sitting around and like most of them are in these fancy like Victorian clothes in this Victorian looking mansion, and they're just like hanging out and, you know, being very gothy, and it's just the like epitome of, you know, a vampire fantasy. Like that's what they're doing, right? They're just hanging out and being gothy. And those are like the regular vampires. And then you find out that there's like the hierarchy of vampires, and that is Craven and his like kind of like cronies, I guess, and then his military guys, and he has like, I think he may have actually called them generals, but definitely in my head they're like his generals, and his like there's like a guy that invents like weapons and bullets for the weapons, and he invented to fight the werewolves, his bullets were like made of silver nitrate so that like it killed the werewolves by going through their bloodstream, because the werewolves could change form into werewolf form, and like their bodies would like expel the silver bullets that they were trying to kill them with and all that. It was very high-tech stuff, right? So when these the hunters of the vampires came back, not vampire hunters, the hunters of that were vampires came back and kind of reported like they were looking for this human. Craven gets really like testy, and, you know, like the main hunter, which was, oh no, why don't I remember her name? No, I wouldn't have expected to not remember her name. It's the main chick that Kate Beckinsale plays, and I know you're screaming it at me right now. And why doesn't the jacket say what it is? Huh. I would have assumed. But it only has the actors' names. Oh, that's gonna drive me crazy. And I literally just watched it, but I keep wanting to call her Kate. Oh no. Oh no. How am I not remembering? I told you my brain is like dead, right? Celine. Oh my God. Thanks. Thank you for the chapter scene selection thing inside. Ugh. How embarrassing. Celine, who is the main like hunter, like werewolf hunter, I guess, chick. I would imagine there's got to be other things to hunt, but during this movie, the focus was werewolves. Craven seems to get really like angry and questioning her and everything, and basically like he may be angry, but he's kind of like, just forget about it. Get ready for the big event that's coming up, which is they have these 3 elders that get to live for 100 years, a century. And at the end of that, like Amelia is the one who's living right now in this movie. And Amelia is getting ready to return to the mansion, the home base, and she will get ready to go to sleep and wake up the next one, which was supposed to be Marcus. And then Marcus gets to reign for 100 years. And then after that, Victor will get to reign for 100 years. And then back to Amelia, you get it. So Amelia is on her way back, and he's basically saying, like, get ready, you know, because we're going to have to, like, receive her at the place and everything, and we have to be all ready for her. And in the meantime, he has, like, this girl who's kind of like his crony, and her whole deal in the whole movie is she would really love nothing more than to like edge Celine out of the way, because like Craven's like so in love with her, and Craven's basically like delusionally like, we're together, we're meant to be, forget everything else, you're mine, I'm yours, we're a couple, that's that. And this other girl, who I don't even know if I'm sure she had a name, but I don't even remember. Let me see if the scene selection has it. I doubt it. I don't think the movie even necessarily highlighted her name, but she pretty much was like his, like I said, like his crony, like when Celine would tell him off and walk away, like she would slither in right behind her and be like, I would never dream of talking to you like that, like, okay. And so there was like one point and Celine was like constantly defying Craven because she knew something was up with him. Like, why are you so wanting to deny that this human guy, Michael, is so special to these werewolves and everything? Well, when she finds out the guy specifically that they're looking for, she goes and finds him and puts him in like this safe house because she doesn't want Craven and the vampires anywhere near him at this point because she doesn't trust them. And she doesn't want the werewolves or the lichens anywhere near him because they're the ones that are hunting him. And then somehow the lichens do track him down, the werewolves, and they actually bite him. The leader of the lichens, leader of the werewolves, Lucian bites him, and she saves him just in time, of course, because she's the heroine of the story. And she does end up with no other choice, making the escape and bringing him back to like the mansion. And that's when this the blonde girl, the crony chick of Craven's, comes in, and she's asking her like, are you trying to turn him? Is this your new like interest, like your new pet? And she tells her like, no, I'm not, like, you need to just leave us alone, like whatever. Like whatever. And so that then like the blonde girl, like, I don't know, she just like checks him out and she sees the bite and she freaks out. She jumps onto the ceiling and hisses at him like a cat, which was odd. And he's like starting to wake up because he'd been knocked out and everything, and he's scared of her because she's freaking him out. And so he like tries to run away, kind of like if you've ever seen Rocky Horror, like when poor Rocky is just like confused and like and they're like kind of chasing him off and scaring him. That's what he reminded me of, kind of like what's going on, and he just runs out the window. And Celine finds out that he's gone and she goes after him, and like Craven is so mad at this point. And along the way, she woke up Victor. She's not supposed to, first of all, ever wake up any of them. It is like, just like when Amelia returns, she's supposed to do this ritual with her blood that wakes up Marcus. And then Marcus, when it's his turn, he does the ritual with his own blood that wakes up Victor. It's only the elders that do it. So totally, before Amelia even gets there, totally out of turn, not her right at all, shouldn't ever use her own blood. She's not like considered strong enough. Celine just wakes up Victor because she has always looked up to him as like her father figure. He turned her. She has always like loved him as a father. And that transports her memories. So like she did it really smart though. Like before she did it, she made basically a memory in her own mind of herself like talking to Victor in a mirror. And she's telling him, like, I don't trust Craven. I think that, like, a long time ago, the story went that he killed Lucian for you, and that we've been supposedly hunting and wiping out all the werewolves that we can, all over these, like 600 years or whatever, and all this stuff. But I'm telling you, I found when they were hunting Michael, I infiltrated them in the sewers, and there is this huge pack of werewolves. I swear Lucian's alive. None of it's true. Craven has been lying to you guys. Don't trust him. And then she starts to awaken him, and she takes off. And so he's getting like life pumped into him and getting these memories. And she's out with Michael trying to like reel him back in or whatever, and protect him from the werewolves that are now chasing him because they found him out or whatever. And those two get into like a car accident and almost die. And I forget how they wound up at this like lair of the werewolves, but Victor in the meanwhile does come to full strength or whatever. And he's been all mad. He had told Celine when he was still like recovering that she had no right to do it, and that even though he loved her like a daughter, she was going to end up being like punished and this and that. And that he could only trust Craven. It's like, I don't understand why he would do that, but I guess for movie effect, he could only trust Craven now. And Craven basically had everybody fooled. And like he was like just low. Craven was definitely like the baddie bad guy, I think, for the most part during most of the movie. But then they go hunting for Michael because they all found out that like when she had made a return back trying to convince them, she had brought back one of the werewolves, and he confessed everything, that Lucien was alive and that they had been trying to make a hybrid out of this vampire line that could, well, this line of super being, basically, that could withstand being, because nobody has ever lived to be bitten by a vampire and a werewolf. They would just die. There was one line of super being that could survive it. And Victor hinted at one point, he said, Marcus is a descendant of that guy. You could have just tried with him. And the werewolf doctor guy said he's already a vampire. It wouldn't have worked or whatever. And he killed the guy, like right there in the chamber. He killed the guy. And they went to go hunt down Michael, because now Michael has potentially become a hybrid. And when they go do that, they find Lucien and Craven. Oh, and Craven had snuck out during all this, because Victor now is like, what? So Craven did lie to me? You know, like, this is crazy. So they all end up in the same place again, because Celine snuck out to go like rescue Michael, and Craven went to go, I think his main intention was to go find Lucien and actually kill him. And I think he was just trying to save his skin, basically, and hide everything. And then betray Lucien, because him and Lucien had a pact, was the whole thing that nobody knew. And he was going to betray him. And then Victor went to go try to find Michael and kill him. And they all ended up at the werewolf hideout, and kind of fighting each other, really, because like Craven thought he killed Lucien, and then they found Michael at the same time. So like Victor is trying to fight Michael, but Celine finds them and she starts fighting them. Craven found her when she got like knocked out, and Craven straight up tells her like, when the night that Victor turned you, he lied to you too. So I don't know why you're fighting for him anyway against me. Victor killed your whole family. So that was like a big turning point too. It was like, oh, Victor's a big villain too. And he's not like your dad and this great person that you thought he was, because he's this actual terrible person. And so she gets really mad and starts like fighting him off to save Michael. And she does end up killing Victor. I think Craven got away because he's a coward. Or Crowley? Oh my God. Why do I keep calling him? I kept calling him Craven and Crowley through the whole movie. So now I can't remember which name he actually is. I'm terrible. I'm telling you, my brain is like awful. This is probably the worst review ever. It's Craven. I'm good. I'm good. I just had that self-doubt for a second. My brain is awful today though. Like really. So, and probably most of you, of all the movies I've done, I bet this one has one of the biggest chances that you guys have seen it. So you're probably all like, okay, shut up. We've seen it. We know what you're talking about. But so I'll just get to like the plot twist. The plot twist was the whole vampire war started with the werewolves, because back in the day, the werewolves were actually like on the vampire side, because they were like enslaved by them to protect them and guard them during the daylight hours. And which, oddly enough, that's like the one part of the lore that the movies follow, because the vampires, I thought it was weird that like when Celine went to Michael's house to look for him, she could like enter without being invited. So that didn't apply. And then there was one point where he had to like try to get water out of her lungs to save her. So like the whole vampires don't need to breathe thing, that was thrown out the window. There was just a couple of things like that. And it's like, okay, so like basically daylight was the only real thing that, yeah, anyway. And the vampires being bit by werewolves, like that would kill them. But other than that, it was like anything goes for the vampires apparently. Anyway, so like Lucien was actually a slave and he fell in love with a vampire who happened to be Victor's daughter. And Victor was not cool with that. But then, that was another rule that got broken too in the whole vampire lore thing. The daughter ended up marrying Lucien and getting pregnant. I'm like, okay, so vampires can get pregnant in this lore? Okay. And I guess. And so Victor had killed her and tortured Lucien and made him watch her die. So he started the war, really, and Lucien was just going along with it because, I mean, he tortured the guy and made him watch his wife die. So that's what started the whole vampire war, and Victor was not the good guy that you thought he was, that everybody thought he was, that Celine thought he was. And then I'll just wrap this up. At the end of the movie, the werewolf that they killed that had told them the whole plot thing, his blood actually started waking up Marcus. And since it was a werewolf and Marcus was the descendant of that guy, Marcus is going to turn into a hybrid elder vampire. Just saying. Okay, so that was the review. I found a lot of trivia and I didn't write any of it down because I'm going to say right now, so much of it was geared around the guns. And I found that so uninteresting to write down. And it was like paragraphs and paragraphs of the gun that this person used and the guns of this. And I'm just like, I'm never going to like remember all of that to write down. Like it was a lot. So I'm just going to say that during the movie, one of the werewolves, and his name is right here. I think it was Ray's, but yeah, Ray's. He was this like super deep voiced vampire, like or werewolf, super deep voiced. He, there were no special effects that's the actor's voice. So that's a trivia fact. And then one other trivia fact is that the actress that plays Kate Beckinsale, or that plays Celine, her name is Kate Beckinsale, sorry. She actually met her husband on the set, and it is I believe, director. And I think they're still married. So that's how she met her husband. So that's all the trivia that I'm going to give you because I didn't feel like writing down paragraphs of gun-related trivia about all the different weapons that are in the movie. Sorry if you're really into that, but it was a lot. I could not believe how much different facts there seem to be about that. But if you're interested, just Google Underworld trivia and like the first link has a ton of facts about the guns and arsenal weaponry. Tons of it. So if you've made it this long, that was way longer than I always do that. Didn't I say I always do that? The project. So I am doing a granny square blanket, yes, but it is Halloween themed, and I'll make this part quick. I just wanted to say that I finished the actual square part, and it is sewn together, and I am going to put a picture in because these are the three main squares right here with the purple outline, the orange outline, and the green outline. And they're all done. They're also not sewn. This is the continuous join. The link is in the description, by the way, for my tutorial on it. But it is a nice seamless join that is nice and flat that you never have to do any sewing for. And I absolutely love it. I don't ever want to do any other kind of join ever. but you already know that if you've been around my channel for very long at all. And yeah, so I have, like I said, a picture of it. It's quite large. It is very comfy. So over the next few videos, I will be doing a border for it. And I will be finally adding the eyes to these last two ghosts. But I have some ghosts of varying sizes that I will be sewing on. There's my little ghost brigade that is finished. I hope you can see the sparkles in it because that's Red Heart with Love sparkle. And I will be finishing this one and maybe doing another tombstone. And that will be that as far as my blanket goes. I'm so happy to say I'm almost done with this. Not because I don't like doing it. I love doing it. But I'm just happy to like complete something like this, like an ongoing. I'm very happy. That being said, my V movie is going to be John Carpenter presents Vampires Los Muertos, which is a sequel to John Carpenter's Vampires. I don't know if it's a sequel or just like an unpopular cousin, to be fully honest. It does say it's the terrifying sequel to the horror hit John Carpenter's Vampires. But it's definitely not, I don't think it's as famous. I definitely discovered this movie a long time ago. I'll tell you why in the next video. I will make it shorter than this review because there can't be as much to say about it, that's for sure. But I love it. I love that movie. It's yeah, right up my alley, that's for sure. I am going to end this though, and at least try to keep it under 33 minutes. So thank you for joining me. I have another video to do, and I will see you very soon. Also, hint, hint, if you haven't checked out my last video, you probably should. I'm just saying, you probably should before Sunday. All right, so I will talk to you soon. All right, I love you guys. Thanks for hanging out with me. Bye.